What is up, YouTube? This is EbMagician34, and we are back with a new Theme Deck Thursday. And for those of you who missed the intro video, episode 1, I recommend you go check it out on my channel down below. And in the meantime, we are playing the Ocean's Core Primal Clash deck that's based on Kyogre, the legendary ocean-making type of guy. And what we're doing is we're playing this from back to the beginning like we would if we were just starting the game out. We've got our starter deck, a booster tin, and a dream, and that's about it. Now, we already looked at all the cards we busted, and we busted them live in the other video, so I'm going to show you the deck as we're starting out with it. We've got our Greninja EX. Now, we do have as much basic energy as we need to build this, so I've changed things up a little bit, and you'll get to see that, and you'll also get to see what I didn't play. But Greninja EX, he's arguably our heaviest hitter here. He can do some cool tricks with sharpshooting. We're running our two Kyogres here. He's kind of a heavy hitter, but Spring Tides is a very hit or miss kind of thing, so this is a late game guy for sure. We're kind of going to use his Ocean Cyclone, I guess, as our main attack for now. We've got our big Walrein. His knockover is kind of cool. And Frozen Splash, not going to be too great, but Fighting is a fairly common deck type right now because of strong energy, so maybe we can hit for 140 with that. That'd be cool. And we've got our two Celios here, which can pair with his first attack, and then 50 damage is in this deck a pretty decent hit. We got our three Spheals, so we're running a 3-2-1 line, which is about the best we have for now. So that's just for support there, basically. And we've got two Milotics. One Milotic is from our structure deck, which is pretty cool. This one, when you play him from your hand, you can get any card from your discard pile and add it to your hand, so that's pretty cool. That's a pretty impressive ability. I actually like it quite a bit. Its attack is kind of meh, but, you know, 60 damage in this deck, we're going to kind of take what we can get. We also have this other Milotic, which swings the same amount of damage, but doesn't have a secondary effect on its attack, and has a little less HP. But you can knock it out to get basic energies from your discard pile and attach them to one of your Pokemon. That's not an EX. But in this deck, that's actually a pretty useful ability. So that could power somebody like, say, Kyogre up pretty quickly. And we're running 3 Feebas to support our Milotics. We've got the 2 Float-On ones and the one Surprise Attack one. And they're all pretty terrible, and they all have 30 HP, but it's what we gotta run to get some Milotics. So we also have our one Whiscash, just because he kind of, he deals damage, and we've got a few means of getting around his Earthquakes, otherwise nightmarish drawback. The retreat costs are pretty high in this deck, but we do actually have a solution to that. We got our 2 Barboach to support our Whiscash. And we're running 2 Marshtomp. We have a lot of Pokemon and a lot of energy because we're very low on trainers, by the way. This guy might be able to do some damage with his Endeavor, maybe. So that could be worse. And we got our 2 Mudkips to support our Marshtomp. And the fire element in the Ocean's Core deck here is so very weak that actually we opted for the dark stuff. We're running a little bit of dark Pokemon and dark energy, mainly because of Darkrai EX. His Dark Cloak, just by attaching one random dark energy to Pokemon like, say, Walrein or Kyogre, gives them free retreat, which is amazing. It'll keep us from being quite as much of Lysander bait as we are. And of course, this guy's attack is really outstanding. So the fact that we busted this guy, we're going to try to take advantage of him by splashing Dark for him. We also have Krokorok in here because, hey, we've got him and he only needs 1 Dark to attack. And who knows, Double Swing might actually deal a little damage, or we could maybe stall a Dark Clamp, possibly. And we have our 1 Sandile to support that. So it's not the most spectacular lineup necessarily, but you do what you gotta do. It justifies our dark energy a little bit more. As far as trainers go, we've only got 13, because that's pretty much what we had. I only cut 1 trainer from the deck, everything else made it. We have our Professor Birch's Observations. Definitely our draw card of choice. We got 2 copies of Tierno that we're running to draw cards, of course, because drawing cards is good. We have our 1 Teammates from the deck, which is an amazing card, and stuff's going to get knocked out all the time, so this is actually going to be an outstanding card for us to get when we get it. It'll be very helpful to us. Our 2 Acro Bikes. This will also help us dig through our deck, and I don't think we're going to hurt for things to want to discard to it. So that's just going to be really handy for us. And we also have these 2 Letters, which we can use to get dark energies and to get our just to thin our deck out and, of course, keep our water energies flowing, so to speak. And we've got this Evo Soda, which, considering how few evolutions we have, is going to be really useful for us. We've got our one Muscle Band that we broke out of a pack, so that's going to be really nice. We have Rough Seas, which will be a nice addition since it'll help us get around Whiscash's horrible drawback to his attack, and might help us just heal in general, so that's not bad. We have one copy of Switch, and you know what? I'll take what we can get. That's very nice. Just one more way around those retreat costs. And the Sacred Ash we busted, I decided to keep that since we have a lot of one-ofs in the deck, and if they get knocked out or something, or we're forced to discard them somehow, this will help us get them back so we're not completely out of luck. Energy-wise, we're running 23 just to kind of make sure we draw them, because we have so little in the way of draws, and we have a lot of Pokemon, so we got to kind of balance it. We're running our one double colorless energy that we busted, which is very nice. And we are running a lot of water energy. We're actually running 16 water energy, because that is the primary type in our deck. But we are running these 6 dark energies, and once again, because of Darkrai EX, these are kind of free retreats, and we might be able to use them to get Darkrai up. We do have some Professor's Letters and whatnot to help get that started. So, that is our starting deck for Ocean's Core, but why don't we take a look at the stuff that I ended up not running. Our Skarmory EX just didn't make much sense. The only other metal Pokemon we had was Durant, and for now we just don't have the support to run that. And, oh, sorry, I told a lie. There are only 2 trainers I didn't include. Fresh Water Set just doesn't... It's an inferior potion most of the time, and yeah, it could help with Whiscash, but in most other situations it's going to be pretty junk, and I think I'd rather just have the energy. And obviously, without running the fire types, there's no point in having Blacksmith for now, but it's still a nice card to have in our arsenal that we might use later if we bust something different out of some packs. And we only have one Stage 2, so this Miltank's kind of underwhelming. I almost included it anyway, though, just because of Hammerin. So we'll see. This Baniri doesn't really do anything. Sentret doesn't really do anything. Can't even evolve to Dodrio, and this Bidoof for 2 energy might not even do any damage. So, nope. Nope. Not going to do that. And we have these 2 Seadras that we're not going to use because they just deal so little damage. This attack will almost always just be 10, and that's 30, and we don't have an evolution for it or anything, so that's kind of forgettable. And these Horsies obviously don't mean too much to us. Almost included the Bergmite, but I kind of feel like we're probably not going to deck somebody out with Stomp Off, and Tackle's not much return for a 3 energy investment, so those guys are going to sit out. We have a couple of extra Spheals, and I didn't ever really stop to realize this other Spheal is like the same, like it got reprinted. So, interesting, but yeah, don't need that many of them. And this guy is only useful when we're playing Round, and he's the only Pokemon we've got with Round, so this Palpitoad's not really going to be worthwhile, neither is the Tympole. And our only dark Pokemon we're not running is Zorua, because the Ascension doesn't do anything here, and Scratch is kind of lackluster. Now, the reason I'm not running the Fire is because, like, our only decent attacker is this Combusken, who has Quick Attack, which is going to deal 20 or 40, so basically an average of 30, and then Spiral Kick for 30 straight up anyway. And that's all that we have there. And then we've got Torchic. So we've got one Legendary Treasures Torchic, which is, you know, an okay thing to evolve from, and then these Torchics, but obviously that's not really going to be any real way to inflict major damage on our opponents. And then the only other fire Pokemon we've got is Vulpix, whose Roar is like its only really defining feature, and no evolution for it. So even though we had fire energy in the deck, no, there's just like no point really in doing it for now. Now if we can get a Blaziken or something like that later, that would be awesome. We might be able to add the fire back in, but until then, that's kind of what we got to work with. And then we have this Serperior, but nothing to evolve in, into it, so it's Pineco, obviously not going to do us any favors. And all of the worms, all of the buggy, wormy things, but not much point in running these guys with nothing to evolve them into. I was tempted almost to use this Meloetta just because the Magical Dance could be used with Whiscash, but splashing the one fighting energy for her other attack just was not worth it. Similarly, this guy, just not enough payout, and we obviously don't have Lunatone on our bench, so nope. Rhyhorn and Geodude, no, I shouldn't have to explain why, no. And we got Trubbish and Spoink, not doing too much. I mean, Trubbish is nice, but, yeah, not really worth it. I mean, if we had the Psychic Energy, he'd be kind of a cool addition, but no. And our lovely one Flabebe and 2 Floettes, including a rare. But they all want fairy energies, and yeah, there's no reason to really splash for that. And we got Minoon here, but the only attack we can use without running electric just prevents a little bit of damage, and it's going to end up getting run over eventually. Anyway, if we could use its Electro Shower, it'd be an amazing addition, but we can't. This Luxio, which I'd never even stopped to consider, its electric counter, while it's a little energy intensive, it's actually a pretty cool attack for late game, but we can't even evolve into him here, so obviously we're not going to run him, but I never thought of that. Just kind of an interesting sidebar there. And then we've got this Dino with no real point. I mean, we could Deep Growl, but no. I think we're not quite that desperate here. Not quite. Hopefully not quite that desperate. Anyway, so that's the deck we're going to be playing. We're going to pick up some games with this deck and see what happens. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. The link is down below, and I will see you next time.